Welcome back to my channel, Pocket Change Coins. If you're excited about finding hidden gems in your pocket change, you're in the right place. First, we're going to uncover some of the most valuable and rare US coins that could be worth a fortune. Let's dive in. We're going to talk about a United States 5-cent coin that's often overlooked by the casual collector but has an incredibly fascinating history and value, the 1943 Jefferson Nickel. This little coin might look like any other nickel at first glance, but when you dig deeper into its backstory, condition, and rarity, you'll discover that it's one of the most prized and sought-after coins by collectors. And trust me, you'll want to stick around to find out just how much this unassuming 5-cent piece could be worth today. Let's set the stage and talk a bit about the context of the 1943 Jefferson Nickel. During this time, the United States was in the midst of World War II, and the country's resources were being directed toward the war effort. In order to conserve copper, a critical material needed for ammunition and other wartime supplies, the U.S. government made a major decision regarding the coinage used in everyday transactions. In 1942, the mint began experimenting with using different metals for the production of coins, which led to the creation of wartime nickels. This was a temporary change to help the country's war effort, and it affected several coins, including the Jefferson Nickel. However, in 1943, the U.S. Mint made a particularly interesting decision to strike the 5-cent pieces using steel, a metal that was abundant at the time. To make sure these steel coins were still easily distinguishable from other denominations, they were coated with a layer of zinc, but here's where things get interesting. The 1943 Jefferson Nickel was part of a special set of wartime nickels that used nickel and copper, as opposed to the more common composition of pure nickel. While most of these coins were struck in the usual manner, the 1943 Jefferson Nickel stands out due to a few special characteristics. Many people still don't realize just how rare and unique this coin can be, which is what makes it so valuable to collectors. You may be wondering why these coins from the 1940s are still worth so much today. To start, it's important to note that the 1943 Jefferson Nickel wasn't produced in huge quantities, and many of the coins that were made have been lost to history due to wear, accidental damage, or simply not being preserved properly over the years. This naturally increases the value of any surviving examples, especially those that are in excellent condition. So, what makes a 1943 Jefferson Nickel so valuable? Well, the first factor is the condition of the coin. Most coins from this period were used in everyday transactions, and the wear and tear from circulation can significantly reduce a coin's value. However, if you're lucky enough to come across a 1943 nickel in uncirculated or mint state condition, you could be holding onto a coin that is worth much more than you'd expect. Coins with sharp details, no wear, and a pristine finish are much rarer, and their value can skyrocket. The second key factor to consider is the rarity. Coins from specific years, like the 1943 Jefferson Nickel, were produced in relatively limited numbers compared to others. As a result, they've become far less common over time, making them a great find for serious collectors. The number of surviving examples in top-tier condition is limited, which only drives up the value even more. But what about special characteristics or mint errors? In the world of coin collecting, error coins are highly prized. Minting errors can occur for a variety of reasons, and when they do, the results can be dramatic. For example, if a coin was struck with a misaligned die, had double-struck designs, or any other kind of flaw, those errors make the coin even more valuable. These unique mistakes turn an already rare coin into a one-of-a-kind treasure that collectors will fight to get their hands on. Imagine finding a 1943 Jefferson Nickel with a striking error, maybe a coin that features an interesting and rare misprint, or one that has a unique pattern due to an issue during the minting process. These coins can fetch massive amounts at auction and are some of the most coveted pieces in the coin collecting community. So, what's the ultimate value of a 1943 Jefferson Nickel? If you've got one in pristine, uncirculated condition, it could be worth thousands of dollars. But we're not talking just a few $100. In fact, a well-preserved 1943 nickel, especially one with a rare minting error, could be valued at a jaw-dropping price. Are you ready for this? $380,000, that's right, a 1943p Jefferson nickel in top condition with the right characteristics could be worth a staggering $380,000. Yes, you read that correctly. This little 5-cent coin that was once circulating as part of the war effort has now become a treasure worth a small fortune. So, next time you're flipping through old coins or cleaning out your change jar, make sure to check for that 1943p Jefferson nickel. Even if you don't think it's valuable at first, it could be worth far more than you ever imagined. With a bit of luck, you could be holding onto a coin worth $380,000. Second rare coin, we're going to explore a fascinating piece of American numismatic history, the 1964 D. Jefferson nickel. This unassuming 5-cent coin might look simple at first glance, but when you dig deeper, you'll uncover why it's become such a highly sought-after collector's item, with the potential to be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars today. Now, you might be thinking, why would a coin from 1964 be worth anything extraordinary? After all, it's not exactly ancient, and the Jefferson nickel has been a staple of American currency for decades. But as with many collectibles, the value of a coin is not just about its age. It's about its rarity, its condition, and, in some cases, the errors that make it unique. And trust me, the 1964 D. Jefferson nickel has more to it than meets the eye. Let's set the scene a bit. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, and it features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States. On the reverse, you'll find an image of Monticello, Jefferson's home, which has become an iconic symbol on U.S. coins. The design has remained largely unchanged over the years, but what makes the 1964 D version so significant? 1964 was an interesting year in U.S. history. The country was in the midst of the post-World War II economic boom, and the government was minting coins at a high rate to meet the needs of a growing economy. The 1964 D. Jefferson nickel was struck at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the D mint mark, and was widely distributed throughout the country. However, this was also the year the U.S. government decided to change the composition of its coinage. In 1965, they began removing silver from coins, which made the 1964 coins among the last to be minted with the precious metal. This change, combined with the general wear and tear most coins experience, makes certain coins from 1964 more valuable today, but the real key to the value of the 1964 D. Jefferson nickel lies in its condition and rarity. Most of these nickels were circulated heavily, and over the decades, they've become worn down. Finding one that has been well preserved and remains in pristine condition is no easy feat. A high-grade or uncirculated example can fetch a premium, especially when it has been properly stored and cared for over the years. Now, let's talk about mint errors, something that makes coin collecting even more exciting. Minting errors can occur during the production process, and they often result in unique and rare variations that are highly desirable to collectors. For example, a double die error, where the coin was struck twice, can create a bold and noticeable variation in the design, making it stand out. If a 1964 D. Jefferson nickel has such an error, it could significantly increase its value. Error coins are fascinating because they are one of a kind. They were produced by mistake, making them all the more valuable to collectors who are looking for something truly unique. When a mistake like this happens, it can turn an ordinary coin into a one-in-a-million treasure that could fetch a huge sum at auction. A misstruck nickel, a die crack, or any other kind of mistake that adds character to the coin can make it even more desirable and increase its worth exponentially. So, how much could a 1964 D. Jefferson nickel be worth? You've probably been wondering just how valuable this coin could really get. Well, when it comes to coins like this, the value can vary widely depending on its condition, any errors it may have, and the market demand. High-grade and uncirculated examples are worth significantly more than coins that show signs of heavy circulation. But when you factor in a rare error or other special characteristics, the value jumps even higher. And now, here's the big reveal: the 1964 D. Jefferson nickel could be worth $220,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. A well-preserved, error-free, high-grade 1964 D. nickel could fetch $220,000 at the right auction, depending on its specific characteristics. In fact, coins like this one often make headlines when they appear at major auctions or private sales, as collectors fight to acquire them. For those who are lucky enough to find a 1964 D. Jefferson nickel in exceptional condition or with a rare mint error, it's more than just a coin, it's a treasure. So, if you've got a stash of old coins or you happen to come across a 1964 D. Jefferson nickel while going through your change, don't dismiss it too quickly. Take the time to inspect the coin closely. Is it in great condition? Does it show any signs of wear or damage? Could there be an error or unique characteristic that makes it stand out? You could be holding onto a coin that's worth $220,000. Third expensive coin, if you're into rare coins, this one is definitely worth your attention, the 1975 D. Jefferson nickel. At first glance, it might seem like just another standard 5-cent coin from the 1970s, but there's more to this nickel than meets the eye. If you thought coins like this are only worth a few cents, you might be in for a big surprise. This particular coin could be worth a small fortune, and by the end of this video, you'll know why. The 1975 D. Jefferson nickel was struck at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the D mint mark. Now, the Jefferson nickel, which has been in circulation since 1938, is a staple in American coinage, featuring the portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his Monticello estate on the reverse. For many years, the design has remained relatively unchanged, making these coins a recognizable part of American currency. However, the 1975 D version of this nickel has something extra that makes it particularly interesting to collectors. But before we get into its value, let's take a closer look at the historical context. The 1970s was a decade of economic challenges in the U.S. The country was dealing with inflation, the oil crisis, and the end of the Vietnam War. The mint was still producing coins in large quantities, as it always does during times of economic fluctuation. By 1975, the U.S. was already in the midst of a coinage shift, with certain coins being modified or redesigned to adjust to changing demands and material shortages. While the 1975 D. Jefferson nickel may not seem too out of the ordinary at first glance, it's this very year of minting that has made this coin especially sought after in the numismatic world. But here's the thing, most of the 1975 D. Jefferson nickels were circulated heavily and are still commonly found in coin jars, change purses, and even at local coin shops. Coins from this era didn't always make it into collectors' hands, and many of them are worn out from years of daily use. The value of this coin, like many others, largely depends on condition and rarity. A heavily worn 1975 D. Jefferson nickel is only worth a few cents, no surprise there. But if you happen to stumble upon one in pristine, uncirculated condition, you're looking at something far more valuable. Coins that are preserved in mint state or uncirculated condition are far rarer than you might think. Over the years, most coins are tossed into circulation, used for small transactions, and suffer from wear and tear. Finding a coin that has been properly stored and preserved for decades is no small feat. The 1975 D. Jefferson nickel is no exception. Coins that have remained free of scratches, dings, or any other imperfections are incredibly rare. And this rarity is what makes the 1975 D so valuable. Now, let's take it a step further. While condition plays a massive role in a coin's value, some coins are worth even more if they contain minting errors. That's right, error coins are some of the most coveted items for serious collectors. Imagine finding a 1975 D. Jefferson nickel with a double die error, or one that was struck off-center or with a distorted die. These mistakes happen at the minting process, and while they're not common, they can make the coin one of a kind. Collectors pay top dollar for these types of coins, and if you happen to find an error coin among your collection, you could be sitting on a hidden treasure. Let's get to the exciting part now. How much could a 1975 D. Jefferson nickel actually be worth? When it comes to high-grade, uncirculated coins, the value of a 1975 D. Jefferson nickel can rise dramatically. As with most coins, the better the condition, the higher the value. A standard circulated 1975 D nickel isn't worth much beyond its face value, but when you get into the world of uncirculated or even MS 67 grade coins, the price can soar. In fact, the 1975 Jefferson Nickel, if found in exceptional condition, could easily fetch a substantial price on the market, and here's the grand reveal. Are you ready for it? If you happen to find a pristine, error-free 1975 Jefferson Nickel, it could be worth as much as $110,000. Yes, you heard that right, $110,000 for a single 5-cent coin. While finding a coin in this condition isn't easy, it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility for seasoned collectors or those lucky enough to come across one while going through their spare change. Think about it, this little nickel, once part of daily transactions, could now be worth more than a luxury car, or even a down payment on a house. It just goes to show that coin collecting is about far more than just the numbers on the face of the coin. It's about the rarity, the history, and the condition that make certain coins true treasures. So, if you happen to come across a 1975 Jefferson Nickel tucked away in your coin collection or sitting at the bottom of an old change jar, don't dismiss it. Take a closer look. Inspect it for any signs of wear, and check if it's in mint condition or has any possible mint errors. If it meets the right criteria, you could be holding onto something that's worth $110,000. Specially, we're going to explore a piece of American history that might not seem too special at first glance, but can actually hold some significant value, the 1979 5-cent coin, also known as the Jefferson Nickel. While most people see it as just another regular coin, it's far more valuable than you might think. By the end of this video, you'll understand just why this 1979 nickel is so sought after by collectors, and how much it could potentially be worth. Now, the 1979 Jefferson Nickel was minted in a unique time in U.S. history. The country was going through a transition, recovering from the economic challenges of the 1970s. The U.S. Mint was still producing coins using traditional methods, but there were some interesting developments happening in the world of coinage. The Jefferson Nickel had been in circulation since 1938, featuring the iconic portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, on the obverse and his famous Monticello estate on the reverse. These designs have become synonymous with American coinage, but it's the 1979 version that has attracted attention in the collector's world. In general, 1979 Jefferson Nickels aren't anything too remarkable when you see them in change or sitting in a jar. After all, it was a fairly common coin used in daily transactions during the late 70s. However, what makes the 1979 5-cent coin so intriguing to collectors is the condition and the rarity of certain examples. Much like other coins of its time, most of these nickels saw heavy circulation. Over time, they were worn down by the constant handling and use in commerce, making it difficult to find one in exceptional condition. But here's the thing. While most 1979 nickels have become heavily worn, finding one in pristine condition is incredibly rare, and this is where the value starts to rise. If you happen to come across a mint state or uncirculated 1979 nickel, meaning one that has been kept in perfect condition without the usual wear from circulation, you could be holding onto a small treasure. The reality is, coins that have been preserved in this way are in extremely limited supply. Over the years, many were simply used for everyday transactions, causing them to lose their luster. But, if you're lucky enough to have a 1979 Jefferson Nickel in pristine condition, you've got something that can fetch a pretty hefty sum. Let's dig a little deeper into what makes a 1979 nickel especially valuable. The quality of the coin, which is referred to as its grade, plays a significant role in determining its worth. Coins are graded on a scale from good, G, to perfect, PR, 70, and the higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. A 1979 Jefferson Nickel in high grade, especially one that is graded MS, 65 or higher, can be quite valuable. These coins are typically preserved in original, untouched condition, often by collectors who have gone to great lengths to protect their coins from damage or corrosion. Additionally, mint errors are a huge factor in determining the value of a coin. Some coins are produced with errors due to mishaps at the minting process, and these errors can make a coin even more unique and valuable. For example, a 1979 Jefferson Nickel with a double die error, where the coin was struck twice, creating a doubled design, could increase its value exponentially. Error coins are extremely desirable because they are one of a kind and stand out from regular coins that were produced without any flaws. If you happen to find a 1979 nickel with an error like this, you could be looking at a coin worth far more than its face value. Now, let's talk about the market demand. Coin collecting is a dynamic hobby, and the value of coins can fluctuate depending on trends and collector interests. The 1979 Jefferson Nickel, particularly those in mint condition or with minting errors, has become a hot commodity in the numismatic world. The fact that so few of these coins have survived in excellent condition only adds to their rarity, making them even more attractive to serious collectors. When demand is high, prices can soar, and certain coins can fetch impressive sums at auction. So, how much could a 1979 5-cent coin be worth in today's market? If you have one that is in exceptional, uncirculated condition, or perhaps even one with a rare minting error, you might be in for quite a surprise. Coins in excellent condition can fetch a hefty price, but when you factor in rarity, condition, and error types, the value can really skyrocket. Here it is, the moment you've been waiting for. A 1979 D Jefferson Nickel in mint condition, or one with an error or unique characteristic, could be worth as much as $100,000. Yes, that's $100,000 for a single 5-cent coin. Can you believe it? While these coins aren't easy to come by, if you happen to find one in outstanding condition or with a rare mint error, you could be sitting on a true treasure. It's amazing to think that a coin as humble as the 1979 5-cent coin could hold such value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, coins like this prove that there's always more to discover in the world of numismatics. If you find a 1979 D Jefferson Nickel that appears to be in mint condition, take a moment to carefully examine it. You just might have a coin that's worth much more than you ever imagined. Now, we're talking about the 1987 D Jefferson Nickel. This seemingly common 5-cent coin could be hiding a huge surprise, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why it's so special. Let's start by looking at the 1987 D Jefferson Nickel itself. This coin was minted at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the D mint mark, and it's a part of the long-running Jefferson Nickel series, which has been in circulation since 1938. On the front, you'll find a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, while the reverse side features his Monticello estate, a symbol of his legacy and love for architecture. These two designs have remained relatively unchanged for decades, making them one of the most iconic and enduring symbols of U.S. coinage. Now, the 1987 D Jefferson Nickel may not seem remarkable at first. After all, millions of these coins were produced and circulated, so you might think they're just another 5-cent piece in your pocket. But here's where it gets interesting. The 1987 D coin has a history that sets it apart from other nickels minted in that time period. If you dig a little deeper, you'll see that the key to its value lies in its condition and rarity. Most 1987 D Jefferson nickels that were circulated became worn down over time through daily use. Like many other coins, they saw heavy circulation, passing through hands, vending machines, and registers, which led to wear and tear. Over the years, the value of these coins dropped to their face value of just 5 cents. However, what really makes this coin stand out is the rarity of finding one in pristine condition. If you're lucky enough to come across a 1987 D Jefferson nickel that has been kept in uncirculated or mint condition, then you're holding on to something far more valuable than its 5-cent face value. Coins in uncirculated condition are incredibly rare because most coins, once they enter circulation, are inevitably subjected to wear and damage. When coins are minted, they often go through rough handling, which means most of them show signs of scratches, dings, or other imperfections over time. But if a 1987 D nickel was carefully stored and preserved without ever being used in transactions, it's likely to be in much better condition. This is where the value starts to increase. High-grade, mint-condition coins can sell for a significant amount. If you think about it, coins in uncirculated condition or with minimal wear are sought after because they represent a piece of history that has remained untouched by the hands of time. The coin has survived for decades without suffering the usual damage that other circulating coins have endured. For collectors, this is a rare find, and they're willing to pay a premium for such well-preserved pieces. So, it's not just about finding a 1987 Jefferson nickel, it's about finding one that's in perfect, uncirculated condition. But wait, there's more. Some coins are worth even more if they have minting errors. Mistakes made during the minting process can create unique and rare variations of a coin that collectors are eager to own. Imagine finding a 1987 Jefferson nickel with a double die error, a misstrike, or an off-center strike. These errors make a coin even more unique and desirable, pushing its value even higher. The more flawless or unique the error, the more it could be worth on the market. Error coins are like treasure hunts for collectors, and if you happen to come across one of these rare mistakes, you could be looking at a coin worth much more than you ever imagined. Now, let's get to the most exciting part, the price. If you manage to find a 1987 Jefferson nickel in mint condition or with a rare mint error, the value can be astonishing. A coin like this could fetch as much as $98,000. Yes, you heard that right, $98,000 for a single 5-cent coin. While most people are used to the idea that nickels are worth just a few cents, this particular 1987 Jefferson nickel could be worth a small fortune. Think about it, this coin, which might have been passed around as pocket change, could now be worth a sum that far exceeds its original value. It's a perfect example of why coin collecting can be such an exciting and rewarding hobby. You never know when you might come across something that turns out to be far more valuable than you ever expected. So, if you've got a stash of coins from the 1980s or happen to find a 1987 Jefferson nickel tucked away in an old coin jar, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look, inspect it carefully for any signs of wear, and make sure to check its condition. You could be holding onto a coin that's worth much more than you ever thought. Last unique coin, we're going to explore a seemingly simple coin that could hold a secret fortune, the 1990 5-cent coin, also known as the Jefferson nickel. At first glance, this may appear to be just another coin from the early 90s, but don't be fooled, it's far more valuable than you might think. Stick around to the end of the video, and I'll reveal just how much a 1990 Jefferson nickel could be worth in today's market. The 1990 5-cent coin is part of the Jefferson nickel series, which has been in circulation since 1938. This iconic design, featuring Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his Monticello estate on the reverse, is one of the most recognizable in U.S. coinage. The 1990 version of this coin was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, as indicated by the P mint mark, and it was issued during a time when the U.S. economy was still adjusting after the 1980s. But what makes this specific coin interesting to collectors is not just its history, but the rarity and potential value it holds today. Now, when most people look at a 1990 Jefferson nickel, they probably think it's worth just 5 cents. And for the most part, that's true. However, there's a twist: the value of this coin has risen significantly due to its rarity and condition. Like many coins, the majority of the 1990 nickels saw heavy circulation, passing through thousands of hands over the years, and getting worn down from regular use. This means that most of these coins are no longer in pristine condition, but here's the kicker: coins that have been well preserved and have avoided the usual wear and tear can become highly valuable. If you happen to find a 1990 Jefferson nickel in mint condition, meaning it hasn't been used much or has been stored carefully, it could be worth far more than its face value. The key here is the condition of the coin. Most of the 1990 nickels that were released into circulation have some level of damage, scratches, scuff marks, or signs of wear. But coins that have been carefully preserved or kept in uncirculated condition are rare finds, making them highly desirable to collectors. The rarity of 1990 Jefferson nickels in mint condition makes them more valuable as they stand out from the vast number of coins that have been in constant circulation. And it's not just about avoiding wear. If the coin has remained in pristine shape for decades, with sharp details and no significant damage, it becomes a true collector's gem. Another factor that makes the 1990 nickel particularly attractive is the market demand for high-quality coins. As more people get into coin collecting, there's an increasing appreciation for coins in exceptional condition. Collectors are always on the lookout for well-preserved pieces, and when it comes to the 1990 Jefferson nickel, it's a coin that could spark interest. The scarcity of coins in top condition, combined with the rising interest in numismatics, means that this particular nickel could fetch a pretty penny on the market. But it's not just about high-grade, well-preserved examples. Mint errors can also greatly increase the value of a coin. Mistakes made during the minting process can create coins with unique characteristics, such as misstrikes, double dies, or off-center designs. These kinds of errors make a coin even more special because they are one of a kind. If you happen to find a 1990 Jefferson nickel with a minting error, such as a double die, where the coin was struck twice, causing a slight doubling of the design, that could make the coin even more valuable. Mint errors are highly sought after because they are rare, and collectors are willing to pay a premium for such unique items. So, how much could a 1990 Jefferson nickel be worth? Well, if you've got one in mint condition, or even one with a mint error, it could be worth significantly more than just 5 cents. In fact, a 1990 nickel in pristine condition or with a rare minting error could be worth as much as $72,000. Yes, you heard that right, $72,000 for a single 5-cent coin. It's amazing to think that something as small and humble as a nickel could hold so much value, but in the world of coin collecting, it's all about condition, rarity, and sometimes a little bit of luck. Imagine finding a coin that you may have brushed off as insignificant and realizing it could be worth a small fortune. That's the excitement of coin collecting, the constant thrill of discovery. So, if you have any 1990 Jefferson nickels lying around, take a moment to inspect them carefully. Look for signs of wear, or better yet, check for any potential mint errors that could make your coin a rare find. You never know when you might be holding onto a treasure. Thank you for watching this video. If you found this information about the 1990 Jefferson nickel valuable, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future updates on rare and valuable coins. Keep hunting for those hidden gems, and remember, every coin tells a story. Happy collecting!